I bought these fake Uggs because they were on sale for £5, but unfortunately the top part was so tight I could only put them on if I split them. Here we are over a year later. I haven't worn them much, but they are a bit dirty, so excuse the dirt. But I've cut the top off, and that's a nice bit of fluff. I might keep that and use it for something else. I'm going to do the same on that one. I've got 3 different sized knitting machines, little round ones, and I'm sure those who are crafty people will know what I'm talking about. The foot part is really nice, but I couldn't put them on because my heel would get in the way, and there was just no way. You'd have to have really weird contortionist feet to get them on, which is obviously why they were so cheap. So I'm going to knit up a black collar, and you can see where the stitch holes are, so it should be fairly easy. And a knitted collar will have more stretch to it. I'll do the same for that one. And making tubes of knitting on those machines are, you know, perfectly fine. I'll make some collars and stitch them on and show you later. So I've got my knitting wheel out, Centro, very good. This is the middle-sized one. Yeah, so that's got 40 hooks on it. I made this one yesterday. That's what it comes out like. So although that looks really enormous, it's not that big. It's nice and stretchy though. I crocheted with a single crochet around the edge and then stitched the 2 edges together, and just sort of roll it a little bit so that it's neat at both ends. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the inside because nobody's going to see that bit. Anyone that knows how these machines work, you need a little bit of separate colour. The knitting is a better tension after the first row or 2, so start with a different colour so that you can see where one part ends. I'll show you a bit more of the process. So you've got this black hook which tells you when you've come all the way full circle. Now this one doesn't have a counter on it. The big one does, but the small one doesn't. You can buy attachable counters so that you don't have to keep counting, but because this is only a small project, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I knitted about 100 rows and then I lost count and there was a few extra, so I would say about 105 rows to make that cuff. And I've tried it on my leg, so it's about the width of my hand, like that. So I'm just trying to set this up. I always find this a little bit tricky, but so when you're going around, you're just going backwards and forwards, just one tooth at a time, one hook at a time. So you go in front of one and then behind one, and then in front and behind, in front and behind, in front and behind. And this is literally for the first round, and that's just casting it on. It's a bit tricky to get the hang of it when you're completely new to it, so don't give up. Sometimes things go a little bit wrong, but it's sort of getting there. Don't go too fast, just go nice and slow. Oop, like that, see, because it's slippery, it's meant to slip. So you can get a bit of muddle sometimes. And I'm already back round. So just go past the first one. And then through this slot and into, I don't know if you can see that from here, but on there is a small tensioner, and just put it through there, and that helps guide the yarn and stop it tangling. Just get going and you'll see what I mean about the white layer. Now that, as you can see, the hooks are not going backwards forwards like I did at the beginning, and they pick up every stitch. And I love these machines, they're absolutely fascinating, but they are tricky to master. But once you get the hang of it, it's good. So you just keep going, and when the black hook comes up like that, that's a full round, and I'll start counting when the black layer comes up. And I put a little touch of nail varnish just on the edges here to show where the black one is, and you can sort of keep an eye on it as it goes around. Be prepared to count, because you can lose count quite quickly. And when you've gone through the white, I mean, you can see when it comes around, I'll show you. It's sort of, these edges can be a bit loose and whatever, and not the best stitching, which is why it's better to have this extra part that you just take away. This is great fun. I can't actually knit with needles. Well, not to say that I can't. I can, but it's just horrible, and I don't do a good job of it. And I think there's more to life in crafting time than trying to get my head around knitting. And a lot of people are like that. I'm not the only one. So here comes the black bit. So I'll count when the black comes round next, when the black hook comes back round, and it's just on its way. So 1, no, that will be 0, so we'll count 1 as it goes. Right, 1. And I'll just keep going and going. Oh, I've lost it already. Oh, there it is. 2. But yeah, you get, I'm going to try to stick it down. These suction cups are not very good. It's probably wobbly now. So there's 10, and I won't bore you with it, but as you can see, this first round, keep it this extra part until you cast off, and I'll explain that later. So I've got this other gadget, which is this. It's a very clever thing. It just attaches over the crank like that, And then you can use just make sure it's going the right way around, and then you can use a little handheld drill to do the cranking for you, because I'll end up like a lopsided Popeye otherwise. So I've just done row 30 and that's there. One, two, and I've got to 100 there. I've only got a tiny bit of white, but it's just enough to go round. When it comes to the end, you just let it go through and it will push itself off. Just being a bit careful. Right, it's coming to the end now, so there's the end, and watch it, it will unhook itself. There we go, unhooking itself. Brilliant. I love that bit. Always just wants to hang on to that one there, always. Must have a slightly rough surface on that one. So I'll just move that out of the way. You can see it's so nice and neat. There's a bit of fluff on there, but that's the inside and that's the outside. And it looks different slightly to that, but that's because it just needs a bit of a stretch. See, and then hey presto, it's all so nice. It actually feels really soft as well. I hope you can still see. So I'm going to tuck it in like that, so you've got the nice side on the outside. It should be about the same length. I've left a long tail so that I can stitch it onto the boot. So I just want to pick up these black loops, get my bit of yarn, make a loop, and then just basically single crochet around that top loop. It's always a bit loose to start with, but just single crochet around those loops, and that's going to hold all of the loops in and stop it all unraveling. So it's still quite early in the year. Weather-wise, it's still a bit nippy. Hope you can see that. It's a bit hard to tell what I'm aiming at. So you just keep going all the way around, picking up those black loops to stop it unraveling as you finish. And that's another reason why it's good to have the two in different colours, is then you can definitely see which one's which. And just go all the way around till you get to the other end. This is literally just a rescue the shoes from the bin type thing. Now I wasn't going to throw them away, but if I can make them look presentable again, I'll be able to have them for house slippers, or just maybe pop out quick. They are comfortable and
tempted to buy another pair, to be honest. And now I saw some in peacocks. I don't know if you are aware of peacocks from wherever you are from, but here in the UK it's just a small clothes retail outlet, which has got lovely things in it actually, but we've only got one left on the island. We did used to have a nice big peacock store. I found the scissors under my big fat bum, so I'll cut that off. Actually, let's give it a long tail so you can see that it's now finished properly at that end anyway. Fold one half inside the other. Like so. I've still got quite a long tail on this. As I said, I think I've done a few rows too many on this one, but that's okay because if I fold it to approximately the right length, really doesn't matter if it's not exact. But then this row, this bit that I just crocheted, you can see, you just pick up the stitches roughly where you want to get to, and then when you unravel, you just unravel the unnecessary bit. There's the working yarn, there's the other bit which I'll just bring through. And then just gather these loops. You can see in knitting that you've got that lovely loopy bit, but that's perfect because that's kind of giving you the indication of where you want to be, and then you just hook through one stitch and then through the loop on the row on the other end and keep going. But it's dead fiddly and it's hard to see black on black, and then but you'll see what I mean as we go. There's the row that I just did, and there's the loops of the row on the other side. You just go through those loops and then make another single crochet, and then you've got this little ridge which will be handy for stitching onto the cuff of the boot when it's done. So I'm going to carry on all the way around and get to the other end. So I've managed to hook all the way around, and I'm hoping I didn't miss any stitches because it could leave holes which I'll have to stitch up. So fingers crossed, eh? Where I got this white piece, so you just unravel that. And let's see what happens. Moment of truth. So have I dropped a few? I think I have. Is go round with the darning needle and just loop up any spare bits. Now remember, this is just going to be tucked in. It's not even going to be seen, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I thought it was going too well. As I say, it doesn't really matter that much if it's not perfect. Life never is. I'll just go through them. It'll stop them pulling out and zimming all the way down through the stitch, because then you get that laddered look, which some people like, but I don't, because it's just not my thing. So hard to see, but as I said, really doesn't matter. It's not a problem, because once you've sewn that to the boot, it'll all be tucked in. So there we are. So it's 2 pieces, and I'm actually wearing the shoes at the moment because they're warm, so let's just get one. You can see it's pretty tidy. So what I think I'm going to do is just get my glue gun, just go around and glue that in, and stop it from, you know, tucking down in when I put my feet in. And then it's a bit hard doing this one-handed. Getting the edge stitched on around. And that should do the job. Just got the glue gun out. I'm just gonna try and get these stuck down so they're not coming out all the time. Seems to be the different layers are sort of coming apart a little bit, which is typical of cheap made stuff, but it doesn't matter, you know. For this it's just a bit of fun, really. Better than chucking it in the bin, which is kind of where they would have ended up. But the shoe part is really comfortable. So there, that's that bit done then. Got a few bits of strings to cut off. Okay, I'll do the same with the other one. Oh, sorry about that, the tripod failed me. It's just a cheap Temu one. I've really got to get some good equipment. So just a touch more glue on the other shoe. Glue on the shoe. I love sticking and gluing. Remember when you were kids? That's what we all called it. Sticking and gluing. That should do it. That should do it. But the foot bit fits perfectly. And I don't understand the point of knocking out something mega cheap just to sell, because how many people are actually going to be that shape? Well, even tiny skinny legs isn't going to make a difference. It's the distance between the back of the heel and the front of your foot, because obviously you've got to go in that way. So it's this bit here. You'd have to have weird feet. It just doesn't make sense. I can't see how these ever were made to fit a human. I mean, honestly, they must have been alien feet or something. See, I was just gonna hop it over like this. Stitch it around, and then when you put your foot in, plenty of stretch, as you can see, and you can just end up with a boot like that. There we are, stitched on. This is quite long, but I'm going to give it a fold. I've just given it a bit of a fold over like that. I'll probably put some hot glue around there just to keep it from rising up again. I'll put it on my foot and show you. There we go. I haven't glued that bit yet, but I will.
It's actually quite cosy. It's nice. It works. But there we go, just one to go. And that's it. I'm quite pleased with that. Thanks for watching. I'll probably do something else similar to this another day. Maybe I could make some more of these. I'd really like to hear a couple of comments, and thumbs up makes YouTube have a look and say, oh, this channel's doing all right, let's put this out there for more people to look at. I'm up to 68 subscribers, which is very generous, thank you. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please put a thumbs up and drop a little comment below. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. There you go. I think they turned out all right. Excuse my dusty mirror. That needs to clean too. But there you go. Yep, that worked.